Hello, hi, greetings, salutations, welcome to my channel. My name is Alyssa, and today I'm going to be doing a 24-hour reading marathon. And by today, I actually mean over a course of days, over a couple days, because I'm going to be doing the method where you have the timer and you actually read for 24 hours and you kind of pause it when you have other stuff to do. And that way you kind of get more reading time actually scheduled in, and then you don't end up messing with your sleep schedule or anything like that. So yeah, I've kind of thought about it this morning and I'm super excited because earlier today I was actually at the university doing some studying and stuff like that, and tonight I have completely off, and then tomorrow we have a little break. We have no classes tomorrow. So I thought it would be a perfect time to kind of start this. And especially since I already finished one book out of the 5 that I have on my weekly TBR list. So I already finished Beach Read by Emily Henry. And I'm almost finished the first out of the 3 books in the Hades trials. So this book right here has all 3 in this trilogy, and I am on page 135 technically, and this one only has 181 pages, so I'm a little less than 50 pages left of the first book in this trilogy. So I want to finish that. That's my first thing I'm gonna do. And then after that, I don't know if I'm gonna continue on with the second one or if I'm gonna give my head a little break and kind of do One Italian Summer, because I've been really wanting to read this, and this was actually gonna be the week where I would be packing and getting ready in a couple days to go to Italy, which never happened. So I kind of really want to read this one soon. It's going to be after I finish the first book in the Hades trials. What's most likely to happen is I'm either going to read One Italian Summer or Tales from the Cafe, either or. So yeah, it's about 4 o'clock-ish right now. I'm going to probably pour up a tea, get some water, and start reading, basically. So I'm gonna try my best to film it. I do have different spots around the house that I read. I also read at cafes and up Single Hill and a couple different areas. So hopefully you guys might be able to see a couple different ones. And also I do want to bring up the fact that I'm wearing my new Harry Styles You're So Golden sweater, crew neck, from Lori & Cole. It is super, super comfy. I had it on a little bit yesterday, and then today when I got home, I was like, you know what, I just want to put on some comfy clothes, so I tossed it on, and I love it so much. And in my previous video, I mentioned that Lori & Cole also does new jewelry and stuff like that, so I am actually wearing one of them. They're super, super nice. This one is actually flowers for my birthday month, which is September. They have all birthday months in gold, silver, and rose gold. I'm so happy I got mine in gold because it kind of matches the theme. They're not sponsoring this video whatsoever. I just love them so much, and they are a local business, so I love to support local when I can. Without further ado, I am going to start my 24-hour reading marathon. Okay, nice. Okay, so just finished the first book in the Hades Trials. It's actually so much better than what it was at the beginning. At the beginning, I was like, no. And halfway through, I was like, okay, it's getting good. And the last chapter, I was like, yes. I was like, oh, this is so good. So I'm actually kind of thinking of maybe keep reading it. Potentially, I might do that. I'm about like a half hour into it, so I guess like it takes me about a half hour to 50 pages, depending on the book itself. Like the I guess the margins and how complicated it is. I find fantasy takes me the longest. Rom-coms kind of takes me the shortest, I would say. And Greek mythology, I think, would be an average. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. Also, I want to show my bookmark. It says, "What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything?" It is really cute, and it actually fits this book really, really well. So I'm glad I picked it up. And I think I'm also going to move into the living room to start reading the second book. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, sounds good. That's the plan. Okay, hello everyone. So earlier my camera died, so I'm not quite sure how much footage I actually have of upstairs in the living room. But since then, some time has passed. I stopped. I had dinner with my dad, and right now I am downstairs in my reading room, which is kind of why the lighting is bad, because I don't really use the overlight lighting in here. I use lamps. There's a one lamp here, two over there, and a fireplace. I will be doing a video of the reading room later on, but I can't right now because I'm actually in the middle of a blind date with the book fundraiser, and I kind of have that all laid out on the floor type thing, so it's a little bit on the messy side with all the boxes and the books and everything for that fundraiser. So going back to the 24-hour reading marathon, I have the timer right there. It's actually paused. I am about an hour into it, which kind of feels weird because I feel like I've been doing this for longer, but I did have to pause for a couple times. My dog had to go out a few times and pause for dinner and stuff like that. But I did read a little bit more of the Hades trials. So I am on page 223, which is chapter 8 of the second book. So I'm pretty excited for this one because it's gotten a lot better, honestly. It has. And I'm thinking, honestly, there's like about 575 pages, so about 350 pages left, yeah, roughly, for this book. And I'm kind of like, maybe I should finish it tonight. It's kind of where my mindset is right now, so I'm gonna see how it goes. I think I'm going to do a little time-lapse video for like this portion. I haven't used time-lapse before, so honestly it might be awful. If it is, that's okay, we can deal with it when the time comes, but I do want to try it. So without further ado, let's get back to reading. Okay, so it is a little bit later. I think it's like an hour-ish since I ended the last video. It's kind of like, I guess, getting used to of having like a camera like right there when you're reading. So especially when I'm someone that like, I kind of move around a lot and like I kind of like slouch and like put my head like closer into the book, which is kind of hard, I guess, to film. So I only did a little bit, and I kept the timer going. So right now, I have 21 and a half hours left, and I finished book 2 of the Hades trials. So I am currently on page number 391, and there's 575 pages in this whole book, so I only have one more of the trilogy. The second book is so good. It's actually so much better than the first book. Honestly, the first book kind of missed some points that I didn't really like, but book two hits every single point so good. The tropes so good. The slow burn of the romance is so good. And I don't know, because I hate doing spoilers, and I am also going to be doing like an overview of like the books at the very end, so I don't want to say too much about it, but I had doubts the first book. The second book, there are no doubts, it's really good. So I'm thrilled to be starting the third book. I'm definitely going to jump into it. I do think that I'm kind of going to go probably to a yoga class, gonna go do a couple more things. I'm probably gonna finish the third book in bed, so obviously I won't be filming any of that. And I probably like start again tomorrow morning, hopefully with some other books, but I will keep you guys up to date. So that's it for now, and see you later. Hi guys, okay, good morning. A little update. So last night I did finish the Hades trials. I think left on my timer was it was 19 hours and 8 minutes and whatever seconds left. So it did take me a little while to finish it. Overall, I do really like it because I do really like the concepts used, specifically like in the trials. Like I liked everything that she had to go through, and I think my favorite would be the second book, because the second book is like you're in the action, you know what's happening, you know all the characters, you know the end goal, and there's like a little bit of, I wouldn't say a twist because you know what's gonna happen, but there is like a cliffhanger, which I really enjoyed. But I actually that's a lie. I was gonna say there's a cliffhanger on the second book, but no, it's a cliffhanger on the first book that gets you kind of really in the mood to read the second book, and then the second book you're like dropped down into the action and all that fun stuff. So that's what drew me into the second book. And at the end, it is still a little bit more of a cliffhanger as well. Something happens a little bit unexpected, or at least I didn't think that was going to happen. And although it wasn't super far-fetched. But the third book, I didn't like the first chapter. I didn't like one of the characters in it, who, like, I really don't want to do spoilers, so I'm not going to say who the character is, but when the characters get, like, introduced, he's in the first book. There's nothing really said about him, or, you know, he's just kind of there. And then in the last book, he shows up, and I didn't really like his character in it. And then I just kind of felt like, okay, you know, like, we're at point A and we have to go to point B, but there's like no journey, there's nothing like has to be figured out or anything like that. It's like within the first couple pages, it's like, I have a big problem, solved. And I didn't super love that. So that's kind of my little review of this book. I might be doing a separate video reviewing it more in detail. I'm not really sure yet, because I find it really hard to talk about books with like spoilers. Like, I find it hard to be like, oh yeah, like, this happened to so-and-so, just to be like, that's actually the whole plot twist, and I don't like doing that, so probably won't be at it. So for today, these are the two books guaranteed to be on my list. I want to read these. I'm actually gonna go out to a coffee shop called Coffee Matters downtown this morning, and I'm going to pick up one of these. I think I might start with this one because I know this one's sadder, but I'm not really sure yet. I am not going to be filming in Coffee Matters for reading because I just don't feel comfy with that yet. But that is where I'm going to be going, and I will still have my timer, of course. So these two are like absolutely, of course. This one is on my weekly TBR, so I have to. This one came in the mail, so I really want to. The other one, if I get to it, which I'm not going to bring with me because I know I'm not going to get to it this morning, it's going to be Where Crawdads Sing, and this is also on my weekly TBR. So this one I'm going to probably get to later on in the day. And I should also mention that it's also like 10:30 or 10:45 a.m. right now, because I didn't read anything this morning, because I was at a yoga class and I went for a little walk. It's really pretty outside, and I've been living in fog for a while, so I kind of had to take advantage of that. So we did not waste a couple hours, because like I had a good morning so far, but we didn't read for a couple hours. So which is kind of why I also like want to read shorter books, to kind of, I guess, binge read. It's easier for shorter books. But anyways, nonetheless, I'm gonna go out, get a coffee, sit down in a cafe and read. Okay, I will catch you guys up later. Okay, so I went to Coffee Matters. I got my coffee, which is actually a chai latte, and I am someone that literally orders a chai latte in every cafe, but Coffee Matters has the absolute best. I was originally going to read at the cafe, but because it's such a beautiful day out, my friend messaged me and asked if I wanted to go for a walk in like a couple hours, and I thought, well, absolutely, I was going to go for it anyways, but I thought I actually might want to read at the pond anyways. I typically do read in my car like during sunset and watching it at Signal Hill, but we're not walking the hill, we are walking Pippi Park or Long Pond. So yeah, this is like the little view, the trail is there, and then the little pond is there. So yeah, basically I'm gonna start the timer and read until my friend gets here. Okay, so hi, I'm going to try to be really quick because I'm currently in the Bowering Park parking lot, and it's really busy. There's a lot of people around. So to get right to it, the reason why I'm now wearing pink instead of black is because after my walk, I decided to go home to change and leave leave one park and go to another park to read outside, which is probably some of the clips that you're going to see. I think I'm going to put it just before this. The camera was not working out in my favor. It kept like tilting because the grass is so uneven. It was kind of hard, but hopefully I got something. I am on page 160 in One Italian Summer. So far it's really good. I really like it. It's sad. It is sad. And I don't know, there's a lot more heartfelt connections that I didn't realize was going to happen in this book. I obviously didn't really know what this book was about. All I knew it was sad, and it does deal with grief, but it does it in a really interesting way. So far I'm really enjoying it. I have about 17 hours and I think like 20-ish minutes left, or just under 20 minutes left of the readathon. So that's pretty exciting. I'm gonna go home for a bit, I think, probably finish reading this, and I will update you guys when that happens. Okay, so I officially finished One Italian Summer. I came home to read the last few pages. It's honestly is so good. I think it's actually one of my new favorite books. Definitely a 5-star read. It was written so well. I loved the mother-daughter relationship. I loved the concept. I loved the magic realism. I loved how the characters deal with grief. How the main character's husband dealt with her mother passing, and how I don't know, just everyone's interactions, the relationships being built. I loved there's so many quotes in it. I loved the ending. I loved the middle, the beginning. I loved the whole thing. It was just so good. It was so good. Yeah, I cannot wait to read more of this author. I don't know if she actually has more books out. She probably does. I haven't looked into it yet, but I do think just because of how well written this is, I feel like I'm just gonna read anything she writes from here on out. So definitely a 5-star book, hands down, for me. For the 24-hour reading marathon, I have 16 hours and 28 minutes left and however many seconds. And I think I'm just waiting for my dad to get off work, and we're gonna have dinner together. And then I think, I don't know if I'm gonna start this one before dinner or after. Probably before, honestly, knowing me. This one's a really short book, The Tales from the Cafe. It only has 250 pages, but it's a short, you know, and the margins are a fair size. So, and it's everything's kind of spread out. So this is probably going to be a fast, quick read. So I'm definitely going to get this one done tonight, and I'll probably start another book somewhere along the line. But yeah, that is the update for now. I will see you guys later. So it is now evening. I did put my hairstyle sweater back on for some comfy, cozy kind of vibes. I did finish Tales from the Cafe. I do love it. I absolutely love it. I loved so much Before the Coffee Got Cold, the first one. Like, I picked this one up actually randomly. I just saw it on a shelf one day, didn't hear anything about it, read it, and was like, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden I saw it literally everywhere. So I was really excited to read the companion book. I do own the other companion book. It's there on my shelf, Before Your Memory Fades. I'm not going to read that one just yet. I have a feeling I kind of know what it's about, suggested by the title, but I'm not gonna like try to speculate or anything like that. I find you get disappointed when you think you kind of know what's on the go instead of going in blind. Anyways, nonetheless, this book is a 5-star rating for me. It's really good. It does have 3 different stories. Again, like the first one, you do get to find out a little bit more details about the lady in the dress that's reading, who's always sitting in that chair. She is my favorite character, so I found that really interesting. This actually took me a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. I don't know why, but I was like, this is gonna be super fast. I can't actually remember how long it took me. I know that my time right now is 15 hours and 15 minutes left, which I thought was funny, but I don't know, this one you kind of like have to read and absorb it for what it is. I just love the stories so much. They're all so unique, but they're also endearing and so like such the like Sunday cozy reading kind of vibe. Like these books. I just love them so much, and I'm looking forward to having the whole collection and having it on my shelf because I feel that the colors are gonna look really nice, especially when the pink one comes out. Yellow and pink are my favorite colors, so like that's gonna be really nice. And I do tend to see of picking up blue books or books with blue covers. So I just think they're gonna look really nice. But right now they're just gonna hang out here, I think, for the most part. So I don't have another home for them yet. So we still have 15 hours left. I don't know why, but I just thought, people tell me that I read fast and I read like really focused reading. I read with like such a like deep dive into the book that it doesn't surprise me that I can read in one sitting because I do that very often. I knew that going into this, but I still wasn't expecting there to be a whole 15 hours left. Like, we're not even halfway through the 24-hour marathon, and I already read 3 books, technically 5 if you want to split the trilogy up, but 3 physical books. The last 2 that is on my TBR for this week, Word of Combat saying, this is the book I was going to read next. I was like, hands down, I'm going to read this, but it is around 8:30 p.m. Kind of my wind down time. And I know this one is a mystery one. I don't know anything else about it, but I know it's a mystery, so I'm like, sometimes mysteries before bed doesn't go well with me. I'm such a vivid dreamer, and I remember all my dreams. Apparently not everyone does, but I do. I wake up and I remember every detail pretty much. So, I don't know, because what I read definitely has an impact. This one is Greek mythology. I do have a thing for Greek mythology. I actually don't really have Greek mythology dreams, which is kind of neither here or there. Like, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. But I was just talking about dreams, and I've read so much Greek mythology that I would just assume I would dream about it. Hasn't occurred. But I'm okay with it because, I mean, I'm like willing to read this one at night and like have that dream. It's alright. Anyways, on a little bit of a tangent. This one looks so pretty. I got it randomly at Winners. I didn't expect to get a book, but I normally find really good books there. The Witch's Heart is the name of it, and it basically says, men die, gods die, she lives on. So I don't know, with that sentence alone, I'm into it. I really would like to read it. 350-ish pages, just under 350 pages long. So I'm gonna, I think, start with this one. And then if I finish this one, which I feel like I would, there's only been one dense book that I've been reading so far, which is Tomorrow, Tomorrow, Tomorrow. That book is super dense. I don't know why people can read that so fast. I think I left off on chapter 4 and haven't touched it since. I was playing with the idea of going back to it for a 24-hour reading marathon. Maybe if I still have time left over, I can like read some of it. I don't know, we'll see. But I think I'm gonna go with this one for tonight. Okay, hello. Welcome back. So it is the next day. I am currently reading The Witch's Heart. A few things to note. First off, this is not Greek mythology. I thought it was. I really did, because of the cover. I don't know. I just thought this was Medusa. For some reason, I guess the snakes. And then I know it says The Witch's Heart. Like, I know it calls her a witch instead of a goddess or whatever else. And I think that I was just like, oh, creative freedom. Like, they can say whatever, change their storyline, you know, still have fun with it. But it's not Medusa at all. It's nothing to do with Greek mythology. It is actually Norse mythology, which is super interesting because I've never read anything from Norse mythology before. The only thing I know really is actually from the Avengers, which is Thor and Loki, which is kind of shameful to say, to be honest, because I know that a lot of people who do generally enjoy Greek mythology loves Norse mythology as well. But as soon as I figured that out, was obviously in the first couple pages I did, I was like super intrigued because it'll be like my first little book about it. So I guess more knowledge besides the current Loki and Thor that I know. So the love story is actually between the witch and Loki, which I thought was really interesting because I wanted to know more about him. I thought he'd be such an interesting, fun character. And I think that this is actually a fun little like trope. Like, you know how people love, by people I mean like myself and probably others, like love the storyline of Hades. Like, not everyone loves Hades, but then he's always like put in such a romantic rose gold glasses kind of thing. And I always love that. So I kind of felt like Loki was gonna have the same thing. And like kind of, but not really, to be honest. I read the first 48 pages last night. I have some problems. I have some problems with it because within those 48 pages, the couple already gets together. Like, it's very like, oh my god, she's like obsessed with him and he's like obsessed with her, and it's just like very boom boom boom. And I kind of felt that could be dragged on a bit more, like could be more flirtatious and more like getting to know each other, because like since I have read a little bit more this morning and now I'm past where I left off when the couple got together, it was kind of like now she's saying anything he does I'm like willing to do because like I just love him so much. And I was like, the relationship's not really built up enough for me to understand why she's so obsessed with him. But at the same time, like, she's not as well, like she's also like independent because like he's not always with her, so like she does have that element going for her. But every time he's around, she's like, oh my gosh, like he's like everything to her. Which I felt like, I don't know, it could have been built up more. I also really early on picked up on the fact that this book does not have chapters. It doesn't have chapters. It has little breaks, which I found really difficult. Well, let me try to find one to show you. I found it difficult to kind of read. It has like these or this one. It's hard to put down a book when you don't really know where exactly it ends. I know the breaks are an indication, and that's what I went with afterwards, but I kept being like super tired last night, and I was like, well, okay, like I gotta finish this chapter, and I was like, hang on, when does this chapter end? And it doesn't end. So I don't super love that either, but it's okay. I've read this morning up to page 76. I have some problems within the like 25-ish pages that I read this morning. A lot has happened, like a lot of wild things has happened in their relationship, outside of their relationship. There was a murder unexpected, which I do think is going to be really good for the plot. There was also some random things that are just being said by Loki, other characters as well, but Loki was talking about tying certain random things to goats, and I was like, that's weird. It was weird. So I don't know, maybe that's just like a Norse mythology kind of thing, and like people who love this genre like love that. I don't know. I found it weird. But so far I do think is one of the books I kind of have to read to the very end to kind of know my full opinion of it, because there's certain things I love and there's certain things I'm like questioning, and there's certain things I just don't like. So I do have to wait for me to read a little bit more into it and maybe complete it before I finalize my opinion on it. But I think I'm at 14 hours and whatever minutes left. Don't have my timer right now because my iPad is currently charging and I put my timer on my iPad. But I actually have a couple errands to run today, so I'm gonna quickly do that, and hopefully my iPad is charged enough. I'll probably film a little bit with this book. But so far, I think the marathon is going pretty good. So there's that, and I will update you guys later. Okay, so I have officially finished The Witch's Heart. All the little things that I didn't super love about it, I think the like the characters that got introduced, kind of a little bit honestly on the second half of the side of the book kind of makes up for it. I kind of really enjoyed them, and I really enjoyed like this mother-daughter relationship. I actually love mother-daughter relationships in books like these where the girls are super like strong and fearful, or fearless rather, and they're fierce and they're just like, I don't know, like these like badass, super amazing woman. So I did really like that aspect. I also really enjoyed the daughter with her father's relationship, and like one particular line when she says like everyone what did she say? Like everyone kind of knows that I'm my father's daughter except for my mother. She always forgets, because like the mom just wants her to be so much like her, and she's like a lot like her dad. So I don't know, I just really liked that. I kind of expected the ending to be a little bit differently. I did like the ending. It's just like the part 2 of it was, I thought there was going to be a little bit more to it. Like when I turned the page and I thought it was like continuing on, it was actually just the author's notes. So I thought that was interesting. My first Norse book, I would say it's good. I would give this 4 stars overall. I think that it's not the best one to be first introduced to it. There's a couple of things where generally I didn't know what was happening. I don't know why goats got brought up so much in this. I don't know why. There's just a couple things that was just like short little sentences or comments that I was like, I don't understand why this is happening. But nonetheless, I do think it was pretty good. I did enjoy Loki. Thor does make an appearance in it. Ragnarok does make an appearance in it. really kind of messed with my head because every time I read the word Ragnarok, I was like the Hulk. So like literally I had that association. So the Avengers kind of ruined a little bit of the Norwegian mythology for me, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, so this one is officially finished. I have 11 hours, almost exactly, it's 11 hours and I think like 20 something seconds left to do reading marathon. And I thought this one was going to take me a lot longer than what it did. It did take me like 5 hours, I think, for a 350 page book. So I guess that does kind of make sense because I think my average is 50 pages per half hour. This was a little bit longer because well, there's just so much detail and I wasn't super familiar with it. But nonetheless, I think my next book is going to be my last book that is on my TBR list for this week. So that'll be amazing if I could finish it because it's actually Thursday today and I typically try my best to read all the books on my physical TBR because I pick 5 and I try my best to read one a day and do Monday to Friday, and then that weekend I kind of either finish it up if I can or read something else. But especially since I'm going into a week-long break where I don't have really any plans, just kind of hanging out, I want to get this one done so I can pick a bunch for my next TBR little video. So yeah, without further ado, I think I'm gonna start. Oh, that's so funny. I actually bought this book when I was traveling, and the ticket to where I was traveling to was actually in the pages. But I think this one I'm really excited for. I think I'm going to probably like read it right away. It's pretty nice out, it's pretty sunny out, so I'm kind of thinking of maybe going to a park and reading or a cafe. I'm not really sure yet, but I guess you guys will see in the next clip. Alright, good morning everyone. I officially finished Where the Crawdads Sing. I finished it super late last night. I stayed up reading because I just wanted to get it done and over with. I kind of get like that with books, especially if I pass like a certain point. If I have like 150 pages, I'd be like, okay, I'll just read 50 more. But when it gets to the 100-page mark, I have to finish reading the whole book. So that's kind of what happened with this one. It did take me a really long time to finish it. I can't remember what I started with, but right now I have 4 hours and about 40 something minutes left to my reading marathon. So this one did take up a lot more of my time than I thought it would. I remember saying like just before I started this that I can average 50 pages per half hour for reading. And then when I was reading this, it was taking me so long, and I guess you're more mindful because you're watching the clock go down as well. At least I was, it was in my vision. And I was just like, wow, this is taking me such a longer time. Like I think 50 pages was like over an hour or something for me. And I was like, that's crazy. But I think it's because if it has good dialogue, I can read that fast. If there's a catch that I'm like really intrigued, like I gotta know, then I really read it fast. And then if there's like a catch, like a romance or something, like I'm thinking of like The Selection, where you know like what's gonna kind of happen and you're trying to like see how the romance is gonna go, I tend to read that fast. This one, not a fast read, not for me at least. I did like the mystery part. I liked the 2 different time periods. I liked I like the tragedy of the girl, I think. And I know that's kind of harsh to say, but I guess I felt the author did really good at building like sympathy and empathy for her. Like I just felt like just sad, and she just like really pulled at my heartstrings. I felt the author was good at that. However, I didn't like the detectives. I didn't like the second time period. Like I didn't like the detectives' dialogue for some reason. I didn't enjoy it. I just kind of felt that they were going to be, or I hoped that they were going to be more like, okay, like let's get it, and like really like, I don't know, suspicious, and kind of like, I don't know, they were just like talking so casually all the time. Like I found that they were just like, oh, let's just go to the diner and get a bite to eat, and it was just so like nonchalant. I don't know if that's just the way I read it, or maybe that's how it is, I'm not sure. But this book, I don't think, not for me, it's not the 5-star review that I hear so much about. I really had high hopes for it. Maybe that's part of the reason why it's a little bit less. I don't think it's bad. I don't think that. I'm debating between 3 and 4 stars because I did like the way it was written. Didn't like the dialect. I liked the second half a lot more. I like the little, I'm trying to find it. I like the little like poetry, like the little poetry stuff in the book. I enjoyed that. But I also found before, like the first 100 or so pages, I felt like, okay, like when's it gonna start type thing. So that also was a little bit of a downer to me. I know that you have to build up the background stuff, and even though I enjoyed reading like that section and gets to know the characters, I didn't super love it for the plot. So anyways, I have about 4-ish hours left. I am debating what to be reading next. I do have tomorrow started. I'm not far in it, honestly. I'm on page 25 in this book, chapter 3. And that's so funny because I remember thinking like, oh my god, this scene happened for chapters, pages on like pages and pages long, and it was like crazy. Like I hated like the first couple chapters because I thought it dragged on, and then I realized that it was only 2 chapters I read, so I for some reason thought it was like going on for 6, 7, 8 chapters. So I might continue reading this one. I hear lots of great reviews for this one as well, so I do want to read it. I might read a couple hours of this at least, and if I don't like it, then I might change it. But yeah, and I also have a couple different outings today as well, so 4 hours seems to be the perfect amount to squeeze in today. So I will hopefully get my first 24-hour reading marathon finished today. Okay. Hi guys, so it is actually I think a week or a bit more since I actually finished the 24-hour reading marathon. I just forgot to do like a little summary video, and I'm actually traveling spontaneously, and I kind of was like putting together all the videos, making sure it was on my laptop so I can do editing and stuff like that while I'm traveling, and I realized I didn't do a little like conclusion, I guess. So I'm gonna do a little bit summary. I'm not really sure what I said in my other videos, kind of can't remember at this point, so bear with me if I repeat anything or if I miss something. But pretty much I read 5 books during my 24-hour reading marathon, and I read a little bit of Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Yeah, so this one I didn't finish. I actually only got to page 158. So I can't remember how many pages I actually managed to read. I just find this one not dense. Dense is the wrong word for it, but I find it to be a slower read for me personally. But in no particular order, because I think I have them stacked by size, and I know that I read the Hades Trials first, but that one's on the bottom. But anyways, a little summary. I read Tales from the Cafe, companion book for Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I love this book. It was a 5-star read for me. It was such a cozy little read and really fast too, so I like that. Then we have One Italian Summer, which was such a dream read. I loved it so much, honestly. It was just amazing, honestly. I think I said a nice review for it so far already, or at least I hope I have, because it deserves such a lovely review. So then we have Where the Crawdads Sing, and I remember this one taking me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I found it was kind of hard to get into, and I don't think it was the 5-star rating that everyone was kind of telling me it was. At least not for me personally. If it is for you, that is totally a-okay, but it wasn't for me. Then we have The Witch's Heart. And I remember, the main thing I remember for this one is the fact that it was Norse mythology and not Greek mythology like I thought originally. And I did end up liking it, but it wasn't a 5-star read for me either. And The Hades Trials. So this one was not a 5-star read, but I did really like it. It had some of my favorite tropes in it. And I remember I liked, technically there's 3 books in this one, and I like the middle one the best. That one is the best. But if Hades is your thing, honestly, this is pretty good. I did like it. I think it's worth your read. So that kind of is a little summary of it. I don't know how people conclude these videos, but basically, I would say a 24-hour reading marathon is such a good way to get you out of a slump. Such a good way to kind of like put yourself in a little bit of a challenging situation where you kind of can get through some of your TBR books. So I really like that one. The only thing that I felt weird about was sometimes when there's like a camera and you're reading, it's a bit weird. And sometimes when there's a timer ticking down, I felt if it was like in my like vision, if I could see it out of the corner of my eye or anything like that, I just felt like I could focus less on the book. So I would keep that in mind if you're going to time yourself for it. But it was an eye-opener of what I read fast and what I don't read fast. And it was also just a good way to keep me consistent with it. I don't have a problem with that currently, but old Alyssa had a problem with that. So I think that if you're someone that can't like sit down and focus on reading, I think it's a good way to do it. I'm actually kind of curious of like how 24-hour marathons would actually work with something else. Like if you did a study 24-hour marathon or something like that, maybe it would help with that. I'm not really sure, but I do know I am going to jump into another one because there's just some books that's on my TBR I'm really excited to read, and I just want to do another 24-hour reading marathon and see how it compares to this one. So this one, I didn't pick these books, my TBR jar did. And the next one, I'm going to pick the books myself based on just like the mood that I'm in to read it. So that's going to be fun. And honestly, I think I am going to put this one on the back burner again and probably pick it up. This is going to take me months to finish reading this one. It is what it is. But let me know in the comments if you guys have ever done a 24-hour reading marathon. What's your favorite method to do it? Do you like the time method? Do you like the 12-hour 12 hours or the 24-hour don't sleep method? And tell me if you've read any of these books and if you have, I don't know, any opinions about it, or maybe even suggestions. Like, you know, I love One Italian Summer, so maybe you know a book that's really similar to it and I might like it. Put it in the comments. I would love to see it. I'm also going to have my Goodreads linked. So if you guys want to add me as a friend for Goodreads, absolutely, I would love to see it. I love looking through what people are currently reading and the reviews on books as well. So, yeah, that's that. So like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hit the notifications if you would like to see my next 24-hour reading marathon. And I do have a few other videos coming up that I'm pretty excited for, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But have a lovely, wonderful day, and I hope your summer so far has been going good, and thanks for checking out my video. See ya!